Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, Sat Sri Akal, Namaskaram, welcome everyone. Let's come to our mats, preparing ourselves for our practice. Please have available all that you need to bring comfort, support, stability, and ease to your practice. That would be in the form of a bolster or bolster equivalent, and that could be large pillows, rolled up duvet, rolled up comforters, rolled up towels will do the job just as well. A couple of large pillows, some cushions, folded blankets, bricks. If you're in the home, your advantage is that you have everything within reach. Let's start off in Sukhasana, easy pose, with your legs crossed, perhaps sitting on your folded blanket or cushion or block. This will help to elevate your hips, open out through the hips, lower the knees. Ground down in all of the parts of the body that connected with Prithvi, earth. Earth is providing here a stable foundation for us. And then grow the spine from the pelvic bowl, lifting the heart space, slightly tucking in the chin, lengthening the crown. So you have this sense of drawing up and grounding down. We are still in the period of the Aquarius full moon, basking in the energies of that moon. As we move from the bridge of one full moon in Aquarius to the next full moon in Aquarius in August, this means that that moon will be a blue moon. So this bridge of time, this passage from here, the present, to there, to the future, is an opportunity for us to develop greater understanding of where we are, of who we are, of all that needs to change, all that needs to come into the light. And from that revelation, to create the change, to move towards freedom, liberation. The full moon in Aquarius is, despite all our conception that it is a water sign, is actually an air element, Vayu. Let's bring our hands into the mudra that I've been using for the last sort of week or so, the Dirghasvara mudra. Bring your hands parallel, spread out your fingers, and then bend the middle finger to bring the nails to touch. So you create this channel between the two palms. This mudra, seal of energy, invites the expansion of pran, vital life force. Bring it in front of the heart space. We'll open our practice by connecting with Om and offering that Om under this sort of the auspices of the full moon to our teachers, role models, guides, those who inspire us, the visionaries who lead us. One Om for each. Perhaps your parents, your elders, your ancestors, known and unknown. Inhale fully to prepare. Oh. 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 And we'll open with our mantra dedicated to those who teach, those who learn, and the relationship between that, and knowing that relationship is reciprocal. Teachers learn from students, students learn from teachers, guides learn from their leaders, and inspiration, figures of inspiration This is a mutual relationship rooted in equity, guided by experience and knowledge. We'll do call and response of the Shanti mantra. Inhaling to prepare when you are ready. Om sahana vavatu. Om sahana vavatu. Sahano bhunaktu. Sahano bhunaktu. Saha vīryaṃ karavāvahai. Saha vīryaṃ karavāvahai. Tejasvi adhītam astu. Tejasvi adhītam astu. Ma vidviṣāvahai. Ma vidviṣāvahai. Together, twice. Om sahana bhunaktu. Sahano bhunaktu. Saha vīryaṃ karavāvahai. Tejasvi adhītam astu. Ma vidviṣāvahai. Om sahana vavatu. Sahano bhunaktu. Saha vīryaṃ karavāvahai. Tejasvi adhītam astu. Ma vidviṣāvahai. Om śāntiḥ, śāntiḥ, śāntiḥ. Open out the arms. Take a moment here. Let's wrap the right arm behind us and take the left arm reaching up above us and reach behind your shoulders to take hold of either your t-shirt or your hands or a strap here. Gomukhasana arms. We'll be here for 3 breaths before we bring our legs in. So here in Gomukhasana, we begin to open up the heart space in order to be able to connect with all that needs to be changed, all that needs challenge, all that needs to be addressed. We need to look within to the heart space, the very root of the heart, to explore what is the belief patterns, the systems of oppression, the habitual thinking that is shaped and conditioned by society, all of the veils that mask and cover the essence of the self, the essence of connection between self and others. Let's release this hand. So release the top hand to reach up. Exhale to bring that hand down. Let's slowly release the right arm. Take it out. Keep the palm facing back and then reach up and over, coming into this lateral stretch for a moment. Here, I invite you to bring index into Vayu Mudra. So bring the thumb to the knuckle of the index. Vayu Mudra, connecting to the element of air. This element is present everywhere, permeates all, illuminates by seeking out the places that are in recess or hidden or unseen. Breathe into the side body here. Exploring our subtle edge here as we hold this crescent, seated crescent. Inhale through center. Now let's take the left hand behind us. Reach up with the right arm and then bend the elbows so that you can fold back and interlace your fingers. Now, if your fingers are connected, what is most likely is that the ends of your fingers are hooked together like a clasp, like Ganesh Mudra, or you will be holding onto your t-shirt or onto a strap. Let's begin to expand the breath. Connected with the element of air is this expansion and pulsation of life, of vital life force energy, of the breath itself. So connecting here with Dirga Pranayam, 3-part yogic breath, if you so wish, or continue with long, deep breathing. As you inhale, you draw the breath down into the belly. Belly expand, ribs open, chest rises. This will be a very subtle movement here. And as you exhale again, you draw the navel back to the spine, ribs curl in, chest falls. 3 more breaths here. This is just where we're beginning to open. Release the top hand to reach up. Exhale, right hand to the earth. Now release that left arm very slowly. Maintain that palm so it's still facing back behind you. And then flip it very gently to come up and over into crescent here. Breathe into the side body. In our practice, we're going to explore the principles of the subtle edges, to play, to negotiate, to taste, to sense those subtle edges. We move slowly in the practice. Three more full breaths here. Inhale to rise up slowly. Now let's bring our legs into our practice. My friends, the options for you are Ardha Gomukhasana legs or both legs folded on top of each other. So let's start with left leg extended. Now, you can take this right knee and place it over the left knee. This is Ardha Gomukhasana. Half cow face legs. Take a moment there. Or you have the option of folding in that left heel to the right hip. So you choose where you want to be, my friends. See how this feels in the hips. Settle here. So explore the subtle edge here between half Ardha Gomukhasana or Gomukhasana without left heel near the right hip, or somewhere thereabouts. The knees are some thereabouts aligned. Yoga isn't a precise science in that each of us are unique manifestations. My friends, open out your arms. Flip the right palm back and take it to the lower back, to reach up through the middle of your back. Reach up with the left arm, and now let's bring our arms into Gomukhasana. We've been here already, so we're prepared for where we're going. Holding on to your t-shirt, onto the strap, or hands connecting. Remember that both sides of your body are not equal in that sense, that they're not exactly the same. We use our body in different ways. We will have a side of us that is more dominant in terms of whether we are right or left-handed. We will step forward with one foot rather than the other foot. We have characteristics that are associated with our yang aspect, characteristics associated with our yin aspect. This will be with the associated with the Ida and the Pingala nadis. You are invited to lengthen and exhale into a forward fold here. Now, as we hold Gomukhasana, we can feel quite constricted. There's a sense of compression. In every expansion, we come from a place of contraction and compression, then releases and opens into expansion. And this pulsation is the pulsation of life itself, the pulsation of the heartbeat, the pulsation of the breath, the pulsation of the universe, spanda. It is replicated in the cycles of the moon. and the way that the moon is connected to the ebb and flow of the tides. So breathe through these moments of compression, surrender and soften into this moment. This is a place to pause, to reflect, and bear witness. One more breath here in your forward fold, then inhale to rise up. Release the left hand, open it out. Let's release the right hand, open it out, my friends. Keep the palm facing back before turning. And then let's bring the right arm, right elbow under the left arm and come into eagle arms just for a moment. Hands can be on shoulders, backs of hands together, or the right fingertips on the left palm. Here we have the left elbow above the right elbow. Breathe into the heart space at the back of the heart. If you wish to connect with a mantra during our practice, a shorter mantra than the śāntiḥ mantra we started with, I offer you Om Som Somaye Namaha, which is a mantra to the full moon. Om Som Somaye Namaha, the fullness, the brightness. Opening out your arms, releasing them. Now here with care, my friends, if you have your left leg folded, release it. Release the right leg long. Take a moment here. If you wish to pedal your feet out, you may do that very slowly without activating our nervous system. And then let's move over to the other side. So let's bring the right knee above the left knee. Again, Ardha Gomukhasana. We'll fold that right heel in towards the left hip. Open out your arms, my friends. And this time, let's reach behind. So flip the left palm to face back and then reach behind to the middle of your shoulder blades or your lower back. Reach up with the right arm and then grasp with your fingers. Take hold of your t-shirt or a strap. And breathe here in this moment. Vayu element signifies change. As we feel the winds of change swirling around us, perhaps we get caught up in that. Perhaps our emotions are tumultuous, our feelings, our thoughts. As we move through this change, we can feel disorientated, destabilized. That's why we root into the ground. But know also that after the storm, after the rain, after the high winds, comes the dawn, the stillness. There's a clearing of the clouds as we are in a newfound state of expansion. The rays of the sun illuminate, the rays of the full moon illuminate. Here, my friends, I invite you to lengthen your spine and then hinge forward if you wish to fold forward a little. Maintain this length in the spine. If that feels as if you've gone beyond your subtle edges, ease back. We surrender and soften into stillness where we are able to sustain it. Otherwise, we are not observing the clarity or the insight that arises from our practice of yoga, that arises from our practice of meditation, our practice of yin. Three more breaths here, my friends. Inhale to rise up. Release the right arm, open it out to keep that palm facing forward, and then slowly glide out the left arm. Keep that palm facing back before turning it. And now we're going to go into Gomukhasana, and this time we're going to take the right arm on top of the left arm, backs of hands together, hands on shoulders, or the left fingertips on the right palm. So right elbow on top of left here for eagle arms, Garudasana. So you'll notice that this creates that opposite. The sensation moves around the heart space, from the back of the heart space to the front of the heart space. Is contraction and expansion. When we contract the heart space at the front, it expands at the back. When we expand the heart space at the back, it contracts at the front. This is the pulsation of the body as it moves around to protect our very heart, which is where the calling of the soul, the call into action is. Freedom, liberation, change is for the good of humanity. And if it does not serve the good of humanity, we ask ourselves, who does it serve? One more breath here, and then open out your arms, my friends. Let's release our legs with care. And again, you have the option of pedaling them out here, just very gentle. And then let's swing onto the right hip here. So swing the legs round. Now bring that right hand onto the earth, or, and this is where you may want to use a prop, bring your bolster or pillows, and you can place your forearm on the bolster or pillow. You could place it on the earth. So your options are, you can stay on your hands, you can bring your forearm to the earth, you can bring it onto your bolster. Right forearm here. We're going to transition into cat's tail. So here, my friends, let's extend the top left leg. Keep that right leg that's on the underside folded. Now, if your hips begin to feel a bit sore here because you don't have a lot of padding there, bring in a folded blanket. Put that right hip so it's on a folded blanket. Now let's reach behind with this left hand and take hold of the right toe. So you may not be able to see me, but I'm waving my toes so you can see them, but I'm going to lower them to the earth. You can take hold of the top toe. You can thread your fingers between your toes. You can clasp onto your foot anyhow. So if I show you from the other side, then you'll be able to see me. So this is cat's tail. So you can see I can hold onto my foot, might take hold of my ankle, my toes, and interlace my fingers between my toes. This is cat's tail. Now, if the extension of the top leg does not feel comfortable, my friends, then you can bend into the top knee as well. So it does very much resemble as if we are lounging at the beach. Although if you're in the UK today, it's been thundering and raining. Now, here we're exploring our subtle edges. Are you comfortable by leaning on this bolster? Do you wish to come closer to the earth? So you have the option. We're here for quite a few moments, so you can always remove your bolster and come onto the earth. If you're on the earth and you'd like a little bit more support, reach for your bolster. You will also have the option of bringing your shoulder to the earth, and here you can cradle your head with your arms. So notice what's going on and where this experience is happening. We have an extension when you're lying closer to the earth along the left side. When you're a little bit higher, you also hold your head in your hands. When you're a little bit higher, you're going to feel some torsion here around the midriff. My leg, top leg, if I have it extended, My foot is engaged here so that I can experience the sensation. The reason we're connecting with cat's tail here is because the full moon in Aquarius is known as the water bearer. In Jyotisha, Vedic astrology, the water bearer is known as Kumbha, like the Kumbh Mela. Kumbha means pot of water. And the water bearer nourishes the earth, the dry lands of the earth, the scorched earth, with love, compassion, empathy, kindness. Water has that fluid, nourishing quality, that emotional connection. So even though this is a period of change, of a call to action towards liberation, towards rebellion and resistance and revolution, it is a call that must be nourished by water element, by the qualities of kindness, compassion, love. This really, for me, is a practice of revolutionary love under this full moon. Now, wherever you are, my friends, in cat's tail, whether you're on the earth or whether you're lifted here, let's release that left foot and roll onto our abdomen. So if you have your bolster here, release the bolster and come onto your abdomen so we can move into Salamba Bhujangasana, Sphinx pose here. And I'm leaving my folded blanket, so it's supporting my pelvic area, my hips. I enjoy that sensation. It's very comforting. The wider your feet are, the more space you will create in your lower back. Arms are parallel, fingers spread wide. Lift the sternum, the gaze can be lifted here. Ensure that even with your gaze lifted, there's a slight tucking in of the chin so that you have space at the back of the head. Salamba Bhujangasana, your variation of Sphinx pose as it's known. So we call it Salamba Bhujangasana because it's supported cobra. The forearms are acting as the support. So think about the Bhujangasana, Bhujanga, the snake, the cobra. How it sheds the skins, the layers of the skin to transform itself. This moon is inviting us to bring awareness to all of the layers that cover us, the illusions, how we may be deluded by the conditioning of society. So stereotypes or beliefs or prejudice or bigotry that shapes our perspectives, so that we don't see the essence of our humanity, or we don't see the connection of humanity. This moon is a moon that calls upon the collective power. And another, in Jyotisha, another description of this moon is a symphony of stars. So thinking about the way that the stars are interconnected, how when we gaze up upon the miracle of the cosmos, the miracle of the night sky, how we create stories by connecting the stars and giving the stories to the stars and creating myths around the stars and the characters that mythological characters and archetypes that we see upon the night sky. That is how we are also connected on Earth. Now, my friends, in Salamba Bhujangasana, your option is to think about your subtle edge. You may be happy here. You may feel like this has been quite intense already, and your options are to move into Makrasana, which means taking the elbows out and bringing the eyebrows center to rest on the backs of the hand, crocodile pose. Or you have the option of reaching out with your arms, perhaps taking them as wide as the mat. Have a soft bend in your elbows, especially if you are hypermobile. So you want to be engaging the elbows rather than locking out the elbows. Lift the heart. Draw in the navel. Now this variation, often known as seal, is also known as Salambha Bhujangasana, or it's alternatively known as Nirvalasana. And nirva, if you think of that root word nirvana, the non-attachment, the state of nirvana, often sort of translated into meaning freedom or liberation. It means non-attachment, being free of the worldly attachments. So this is the rising up of the Bhujanga in the state of liberation post shedding of its skin. So here, bring to mind how we can release either perceptions, misunderstandings that others hold of us. I struggle with that greatly. And I find myself becoming attached to the opinions that others hold of me, or the view that they have of me. How can we become non-attached to that? How can we let go of that? Knowing that we carve out our own identities where we are able to, but knowing that we have inner power. So if you notice in this pose, and I'm going to invite you to really connect with your chakras here. If you think about the Manipur chakra here at the navel, just above the navel, that's where you can feel an expansion. This is the seat of transformation of your inner power. So we're activating that here. With this inner power, we can step up, step into change. We can seek to, when we collaborate with others, or when we come into community, or when we come into a collective, that we come into this community with a sense of self, an empowered sense of self. We'll be here for 6 more breaths, my friends. And at any point, remember these subtle edges that you're playing with. You can move slowly, mindfully, carefully. We're all going to move now into Adhavasana, which is a reverse corpse pose. Exhale, lower your elbows if you are raised up. Now here, if you're in Makrasana, I invite you to release your arms and take your arms overhead. This is where it would be helpful for me not to have my dogs right next to me, but they insist on being close to me when I'm practicing. So I have to put their bed there so they sit still. Reach overhead with your hands. And have your eyebrows centered directly on the earth or on a cushion or a folded blanket, legs reaching behind you. If you start feeling tingling in your arms, as sometimes is the case when we take them overhead, bend into your elbows so that you create this sunbeam or cactus arms. Your arms do not need to be parallel when they're overhead. You can create a V shape, a valley, or cactus arms. We're not going to be here for long, my friends. If this begins to feel really difficult for your eyebrow center, because here the Ajna chakra is the insight, the clarity, the vision. This moon is a visionary moon. And by stimulating the Agnya chakra, we are stimulating the capacity to connect to our own inner vision, the inner sight, the clarity that we need to be able to dream beyond the possibilities that are contained or restricted or dictated to us, so that the reach of our imagination is beyond what we have been told that we are worthy of, that we are all that we can expect, all that we deserve. Draw your hands alongside your body, my friends. We're going to roll over onto the left hip now. So we're moving into cat's tail on this side. So again, your choice, my friends. Would you like some support under your left forearm? If you wish to, you can bring a bolster here. Bending into that left leg, keeping that right leg extended. And when you're ready, you can reach behind for that toe. Now, my friends, if the foot is some distance away for you, you can place that right hand on your lower back. You can place it on the earth behind you. You can rest it on your hip. Find where you are by exploring your subtle edges. Breathe deep here. If you wish to bring your left shoulder, your left ear down towards the earth, you can use your arm to cushion you. Surrender and soften to the stillness. So the first principle is to explore the subtle edges. The second principle is to surrender and soften into stillness that you can sustain. And here we pause, reflect, bear witness to what arises or what insights come sharply into focus for us. The full moon in Aquarius, this Kumbha moon, this water bearer moon, is also known as the 100 healers. Knowing that you yourself are the healer, that you have inherited this natural skill, this innate quality, because you have a unique perspective, lens on yourself, on who you are and what your needs are, that no one else can see. This is where when we sink into the root of the heart, we bear witness to the unheard, unseen, unvoiced. We shine the light of this full moon on those places. Remember to connect with Om Som Somaye Namaha. Let's have 3 more breaths here in cat's tail. Remember that top leg you can have a bend in that top leg. When you're ready, let's release the left foot and roll onto your abdomen here. Let's take out the right arm at a 90-degree angle. Remove your bolster if you have a bolster here. And then let's roll onto the right shoulder, the right hip, bend into your knees, coming into angel wing. The left hand can act like a scaffold, so bending into your elbow and placing the left hand or left fingertips on the earth. You can also bring that left hand to the lower back. You can reach towards the right hand, perhaps interlace, yogi's choice. With your legs, my friends, you can extend them long or bend at the knee. This is angel wings. Wings of the heart, expanding the heart space. When we practice this form of Hatha yoga, so this is a form of Hatha yoga, the cooling aspect of yoga, the lunar aspect of yoga, the Chandra aspect, the aspect that is associated with the moon, with Ida Nadi. It is called the Yin in the West, a very recent development. Three more breaths here in angel wing to the right. With your left hand acting as your scaffold, so that left elbow is bent at an angle. Straighten out your leg and then roll onto your abdomen. Keep that right arm extended for a moment. Let's extend out the left arm to the side, so you almost look like a T shape here. And now, my friends, we're going to go to roll on the left hip. So make some space where you need to create some space. So roll onto your left hip here. Bend into your elbows. Now, it's going to feel very different from one side to the other, so come only as far as feels comfortable for you. So I have a old story in that shoulder. So I'm going to, my subtle edge on this side will be more tender. You can take the right hand behind you onto your sacrum or onto the earth behind, or you can maintain the right hand as if it's almost a tripod or a scaffold for you. I like to come up high on my fingertips for this. Legs can stay with a bend in the knees, or you can extend them long. Again, we're all going to be different here. If you wish to place a cushion underneath your head, you may do so. We're not here for very long, my friends. In angel wing to the left. And we're in angel wing, we want to be particularly careful, releasing with tender care. So when you're ready to release this, roll onto your abdomen. Take out your right arm long so you create this T shape for a moment. And then bend into your elbows and bring your hands underneath your eyebrow center. And we're going to roll onto our backs here, my friends. Now we're going to transition here into supported bridge pose. For your supported bridge pose, my friends, you can use cushions, your pillows, your bolsters. So I like to use my bolster for supported bridge. So you might want to stack a couple of pillows or cushions, and they do the same job, a couple of folded blankets. So start by having them underneath your knees. Tuck in your chin ever so gently so the back of your neck is long. Start here by just rolling the pelvis so that you can connect. So remember the way that our spine is. We have the sacrum, the lumbar, the thoracic, and the cervical. So we have these loops, these curves, natural curves. So let's play around with the curves, especially around here, around the lumbar region, by tilting the pelvic bowl. And my friends, inhale, press into the earth through all four corners of your feet and slide your support by lifting your hips and pelvis and place your support here that you wish to engage. You don't need to have any support at all. When you're ready here, check in here. Let's explore the subtle experiences here. Do you feel a twinge anywhere? Does this not feel supported? So the ideal here is to have the weight of the hips and pelvis fully supported by the bolster. And if you feel a twinge, it might mean that you're pressing on a nerve. So shuffle the bolster either up or down. So I can, if I line up the center of if I line up the tailbone on the center of the bolster, that is the most comfortable place for my back. I want to leave my lumbar spine free to move here, and I want to support my sacrum. Now, my friends, here, feet are firmly connected with the earth here. Arms alongside your body, chin slightly tucked in. Surrender and soften into stillness here. Your option, my friends, is as you wish to progress. We're going to be here for quite a few moments. You may wish to take your hands overhead. You want to place a cushion or a folded blanket underneath the backs of your hands for support. That's an option too. Om sahana avatu, sahano bhunaktu, saha vīryaṃ, karavāvahai, tejasvi adhītam astu, vidviṣāvahai, vidviṣāvahai. Śāntiḥ, śāntiḥ, śāntiḥ. You can silently chant mantra, your life's calling, your purpose, your call to action, the call into service, your sankalpa of seva, selfless service for your community, for the collective, the good of humanity. We carry out our labors and our work without attachment to the fruits of that labor, without expectation of reward or benefit or gain. 5 more breaths here, my friend, in our Satubandhasana, supported bridge pose. From here, my friends, when we release with tender care, we're going to transition mindfully and slowly into supported fish pose, Vatsyasana. And thinking ahead what we may need here. So we're going to place some support in the middle of our back, sort of so that it's aligned with our shoulder blades. This could be our bolster or pillows that we have underneath our sacrum. That feels too high. You can take one pillow, one cushion, a rolled up blanket. We want to open up the heart space and Vishuddha, so the Anahata chakra and the Vishuddha chakra. So let's think about how we're going to prepare this. So if we want to stay with the bolster or pillows, we can shuffle ourselves down so that we can bring our shoulder blades closer. Here you may wish to place a blanket underneath your head and slide down so that your sit bones are connected with the earth. My dogs aren't very happy. My feet are in their bed. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you want to do more adjustments, roll onto the side first and then create your adjustments. So I'm going to use my folded blanket for the back of my head, and I'm having my bolster along the shoulder blades. So make any adjustments that you wish to here, my friends. Depending on how much of an opening you want to experience in your throat, then your cushion or folded blanket underneath your head can be higher or lower. You want your folded up or rolled up blanket or cushions or bolsters so that when you open up your armpits are able to sit quite comfortably on the top of the bolster or the pillows. Here I'm supporting my thoracic part of the rib cage, the upper part of the rib cage. My lumbar spine is free. I am connected with the earth through my sit bones. You can keep your legs, your knees bent, or you can extend your legs here. It's quite challenging to talk with your Vishuddha chakra wide open here. If you wish, you can also extend your legs long if I haven't already given you that option. So this is supporting Matsyasana. Take your time getting here. And remember, you can be as low or as high off the earth as you choose to be here. Your bolster or pillows are there to support you, to open up the heart, to open up the Vishuddha. You can rest your hands alongside your body. You can rest them on your pillow. You can reach overhead. I like to rest them on my pillow or take my arms out along the sides. If you begin, your subtle edges become less than subtle so that you become very aware of them. And there's this very strong sensation, or there's an intensity to it. It might be that you need to bend into your knees. You might bend into one knee. You might bend into both knees. It might be that your bolster or your pillows or your stack here underneath your shoulder blades is too high. So you might want to remove something so that you perhaps have a lower level support there. It might be also that your cervical part of your spine here at the neck is constricted at the back because it's too far to reach down towards the earth, in which case bring something to support your head, your crown, the back of the head. However you are connected here. Remember, this is a variation of fish pose Matsyasana, supported Matsyasana. You are invited to close your eyes, to surrender and soften into this stillness. And pause and reflect here on when we're in this period around the full moon. The seed of potentiality is open to us, for us to explore with a revolutionary stance or a more evolutionary approach, depending on how we work, whether we are, depending on our nature, our character, our dosha, depending on the astrological sign under which we are born. The way that, for example, fiery signs will approach something compared to earthly signs will be very different. Both have their strengths, and this is the power of the collective, in that we can bring together all of these unique qualities, skills, identities, that together we create a whole. Remember that part of our purpose is to create and offer, co-create, co-construct a collective path that is watered by love, by compassion, by empathy. If our rebel spirit causes harm, we are aggressive or disruptive in a way that disregards our duty of care, of love to one another, then we are not aligned with our own values, with our own purpose. 3 more breaths here in Matsyasana. And from here, my friends, when you are ready to transition, move and release with tender care. Rolling on to the left side of the heart. So that's where the weight of the heart is. The yin side, the cooling aspect, the either aspect of our nature. And then with helping hands rolling off your bolster or support. And now, my friends, I'm going to invite you to come into your Shavasana, to set yourself up for your Shavasana. And remember, your Shavasana is the care that you showed yourself. Set your insight timer for either 5, 10, or 15 minutes. And then lie down with a blanket covering you, a pillow over your eyes. And take this time to soften and surrender into all that you have experienced in your practice. And when you are ready to rise up, closing your practice with Om Shanti 3 times, a devotional offering to the self, to the collective. Closing your eyes softening into your Shavasana, my friends. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.